Israel became Israel.
Okay, what about the
So-
question you asked me?
So she asking me about the conflict between Israel and the Arab nations.
Get rid of Israel, wipe them off the map.
Yeah. So now we got fanatic people on the Muslim side. They call themselves Muslims. They want to wipe Israel off the map
Why is that?
because they think this is how they are. I mean, I cannot speak on behalf of them, but they want the Israeli wipe off the map as those fanatic. They call themselves Muslims. So it's not how we live, or all the Muslims they want to wipe them off the earth, because the Lord create the Israelis, the Israel, and then later time they were beginning of the Jews. So the Jews and the Arabs, they're cousins. See, so they are cousins. So what happened? These fanatic people, they don't want the Israelis because group of Israelis they do bad things, and group of the Arab or Muslim they have bad people. So on both sides they call themselves as they represent the Arab, and the Israeli represent the Israelis. So these things it follow it goes under politics. So this is only politics that these people they want to wipe them off the earth, off the earth.
Is Israel God's people?
Israel, yes, they're God people, but like I said, there's the individual people. There could be bad people. Like, for example,
They could be. God forgave them, turned them around, took them back into His fold. So they are His people. Then God forgive them for what they done. That's the only reason. They
Yeah.
people because He forgave them and took them back.
yeah, see, the Israelis, they were the Lord chosen.
This is chosen.
Chosen. For 40 nights and 40 days, the Lord rained gold on the Israelis. They were the chosen one. But then again, we say some of them, part of them, they did bad, and the Lord says you got to worship the Lord, and they say no, we're not going to worship you. I'm not saying not to all Israelis. If let's say, for example, if there's 1 million Israelis, maybe like 100 people, let's say we're not gonna worship you, the Lord. Same thing like with we say the Satan or the devil, because God created the devil, for example. He made from fire, because the Lord told him, "You're gonna obey me and pray for me." So the devil says, "I'm not gonna obey you or pray for you." See what I'm saying? So some of the Israelis, they didn't obey God, so that's what happened. But Israelis and the Arabs, they've been living for thousands of years together, but some fanatic people, they don't like Israelis, and they do all of them as, they accept all the Arab or the Muslims as not to like Israel.
I think they want to wipe them off the earth because they God's people and they want to get rid of them. What you think?
Yeah, I mean,
So they
see,
were organized people like that when you think about it. Even the people in the United States. You got
yeah,
ways of doing that too.
if they, for example, if they say that, because the Lord created the Israelis, the Lord created we can't say the Israelis, they're human. The Lord create us, all of us
all of
together.
us, yeah.
They say He gave us one of His love. So the Israelis under the Arab, the Jews, well, we can say as Muslims or Christians, back then it wasn't none. So if the Lord create the human, part of them they were Israelis, part of them they were Chinese, Egyptians or
But you got to
whatever.
fighting each other. What was the question you had, Marlon?
Yeah, but I always try to ask them. They want to wipe them out, get rid of them, fight them, everything. They want to get rid of them
Yeah.
for good.
See, because we have a situation. For example, in the early 1900 or 1800, the Israelis, they took land from Palestine. Now, before Palestine, there were Israelis there, there were Jews there, there were Arabs there in Palestine. They were living together. But in the way that my dad showed me and taught me, because see, back then, for example, the Middle East was all one country. There was no.
Yeah,
there
that's
was
what I remember.
Lebanon.
I mean, I wasn't born there, but I always looked at it as all one country, everybody the same. You know, not the same, but everybody is
Yeah,
all under one thing out there. And now it's like Palestine, Israel, Jews. I don't even know what's going on.
yeah. The thing was
They got
going
split
on
up or something.
because see, the whole Middle East was only one country, and for example, Saudi Arabia wasn't Saudi Arabia back then. It was in Saudi Arabia was like the capital of Middle East.
Okay, well, what happened with Abu Dhabi?
So-
Why is Dubai?
Now, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, all these countries, later on, they all got separated. So, for example, Syria, they became a country, right? So they put presidents. Lebanon became a country, they put a president.
Oh, okay.
Iraq became a country, they put a president. Now, Palestine became Palestine, after they separated everything, but they didn't have a president. See, they didn't put a president because that land is the Lord's land. Because where the Christians, the Muslims, everybody, Prophet Noah, Jesus was born there, Noah was born there. Most of 95% of our prophet, they were born there. So as of Syria and Lebanon, but 90% of all our prophets, from Isaiah to Joseph, all these prophets we worship the Lord and we follow all of them. They were born in Palestine. So when Palestine became, they have no presidents and nobody, and the Arabs, they will say each town will control itself.
Ah,
So Israelis became one nation. We say we can control the whole country. So the Arab didn't like that.
I didn't know they was controlling their own self.
Yeah, they were in Lebanon. We have presidents, but in Palestine, we didn't have a president.
they still is it like that now?
Now that was in the early 1900, 1938. In 1948, they became like a group of Israel, which is not the one we want to be controlled as united between the Palestinians, the Palestinians and the Jews and the Israelis. Look, see, the Jews are the Israelis are part of the Jews.
Ishmael, is it Ishmael?
Ishmael, he's a prophet. He came from Egypt.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we as the Arab became from Ishmael.
Okay.
So and Ishaq, Isaiah, not Isaiah. The Arab and the Jews. The Jews they became from Isaiah. Now and then we became from Ishmael.
Okay.
So basically, Ishmael went to Egypt, and Isaiah went to Palestine. So that's how the Jews came, and the Arabs start from Egypt as from Ishmael.
Okay. Well, I got a question. Excuse me, sorry about that. Why do everybody act like they don't like Jews? I mean, your opinion on why everybody act like they? I mean, from what I know, everybody if it's a Jew, Jewish. I'm like, what's wrong with the Jewish people?
Right.
Are they
Yeah,
being held responsible for something that happened in the 1800s?